we can have a date night where we start off in the Lambo, go to a nice dinner, come back, get into something more comfortable like a Maybach or a Rolls Royce, like, all in one night. And go sit courtside at a game. It's a different experience, and it takes money and it takes work. Yeah. So that's the type of loud I'm talking about. For sure. Where it's just obvious, I've been working. You got those guys that say, oh, I'm working, I'm busy, I don't have time. And then, I ain't got when it's time for them to spend time with their lady, they doing bare minimum activity. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. No shade. Sure. No, if you're that busy, why is the activity that bare minimum and I'm barely seeing you? Like, where's the money going? You know what I mean?
That is a fact. Yeah. Bro, what's my wife gonna see this and be like, Dion, God dang it. Where that money at?
Chef say I gotta kill this.
All right. Oof. Damn, boy. It's been a little minute too, man, since we feel like it. Feel like it's been like
been like 2 weeks.
Been 2 weeks? Like it has been 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks. It has been 2 weeks.
That's because we normally would do our lives in between. We haven't been doing the live.
Yeah. We have a lot of content too, though.
A lot of content.
We have a lot of content too, though.
That's what happened when you batch. You know what I'm saying?
That's what happened. That's what happened. I like what you got on too, man.
Hey, man, just shout out to the real department.
Shout out to the real department. Shout out to the real department. They got us right. Yeah, tight and feeling all right.
Upgrade, Yeah. At first it was t-shirts, and then they like,
now we got a nice little
throw your jacket on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I need a hat now. See, I'm in here with no hat on today.
Bro, you're on your Suge Knight, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what? You know what I've never seen, bro? I've never seen a bald person not successful. No bullshit. I've never seen a bald person not successful, bro.
But what's the definition of success? That's the thing.
Well, you can't really be poor and bald because it costs to keep that.
Bro, so that's on there too. Most people think being bald is like a cheap way out. It's really not.
No, it's expensive.
It's expensive
to be the nice bald, like with
you got to
Michael Jordan
shine. You got to get the cream. You got to make sure it's exfoliated. You got to make sure you don't bump up. You got to make sure your forehead and your face match. It's a lot of work.
It takes some work. So listen. With that being said. You successful, my brother. You successful.
I appreciate that.
But man, let's go get what is going on, man. We are back at it with another podcast, another episode, man. I am your host, King Mozzie, in the building. Across the table from me, as always, I got my brother with me, Suge Knight, a.k.a. Dion Nemo T. Vader is in the building, man.
Yeah. Y'all see it. Hey, he do. I felt like Suge earlier,
bro. No lie, bro.
Earlier today, I really did, bro. No lie. We was in here when we was signing that contract. I'm like, even know what y'all doing. Nah.
Hey, man. Well, shout out to the real department, man, for the nice package, man. Shout out to YK1K, Mr. Bam Body himself, man, for the X hat. Yes, sir. But bro, we got a guest in here today.
And we got a special guest. We got a special guest today. Bro, before the cameras was rolling, we were having a conversation, and the conversation was getting so good. I'm like, hold on, man, we got to say this for the show. You know what I mean? Because this person that we have on today, man, just their expertise when it comes from finance and being a good man, being someone with morals, integrity, bro. I'm talking about with the cars, not one car, not two cars. You know what I mean? I'm talking about cars, man. You know what I mean? Someone
with
that's going with a Z. With a Z. Yeah,
cars with a Z.
With a Z,
That is.
I feel like today's conversation, man, like I said earlier, it's gonna be like a masterclass. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's like they say when the teacher enters, the students just sit back and just listen and be taught. So today, man, that's the goal for me today, man. I just want to be a student. I just want to be taught. And man, we got Mr. Devon out here, man.
Yeah.
What you call him? What you call him?
I call him Lamb Chop D.
Lamb Chop D.
I call him Lamb Chop D.
What's going on,
Chop D, man. What's going on?
Man, everything's good, bro. Appreciate you for coming in, man. For real. Appreciate you, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, so we talked about it off the air. But for the air, for the people. So this is how I met this guy. We all downtown. some music videos, probably like 3-4 years ago. I don't remember what music video it was. We downtown, and this is prime Hellcat days for me. This is prime Hellcat days. So I'm slight work big dog in the city. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the Hellcats, I'm slight. I didn't beat a couple of people in some races. So I'm feeling like the man of the year. So my guy, he's completely against Hellcats for whatever reason. So he says, you know what? I'm gonna pull out my vet. Pull out the vet. Man, I got 700 horses with me right now. I got a stable with me right now. He pulls out the vet, and we all go to an undisclosed location and we went to Mexico and we partaked in some very legal activities. So, but we ain't gonna talk about what happened. But that's how we met. So, man, we got him in the building today, man. Solid guy.
I want to say this though. So did the Hellcat or what was the end result?
We ain't got.
So I had to put up the Lamborghini.
We got to talk.
Yeah.
Everybody see that, so I switched to the vet to try to make it fair.
Yeah.
We ain't got to talk.
Still ended up not being fair.
Yeah. Say it still wasn't fair.
I'll pull your mic close to you.
Oh, okay.
Yo.
So like this way.
Yeah.
You
can move.
It still wasn't fair.
Yeah,
we ain't got to talk about it.
Not fair at all.
But man, solid guy, real solid guy. Big in finance. I'd asked him to be my mentor, but his schedule is jam packed. But I'm gonna keep asking him until he do it.
Yeah.
But man, we got him in the building, man. Again, bro, I appreciate you for pulling up. Making the time to give us this great podcast we about to have.
Sir, yes, sir.
I appreciate the invite, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you.
And let's get into it, man. How y'all week been? First of all, man.
Listen,
How y'all
man. This has been a good week, man.
Yeah.
For me, right? I always say, like, in life, because I'm a father, just to give some context, man. I've been married for this year be 18 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Man, thank you, man. I have a 17 and a 13-year-old or 12-year-old.
Major accomplishment.
And I'm about to have a new baby in June. And like I told you today, bro, the stroller came in. And when I saw it, it just was like, oh my God. A little person is really about to be
in there,
man. And it hit me, but it's like that feeling of like joy and happiness, you know what I mean? And I just been on that high, man. So for me, bro, I'm just like, I'm anticipating what's next to come, man. But at the same time, I'm scared. Like as a man, I sometimes they're like, don't, show you, but I'm scared. You know what I mean? Because of the unknown of what if it don't work out like I, you know what I'm saying? I plan on it doing. But I do have a plan, and that's what I do want to say. Like in life, even if you don't know how things is gonna plan out, like still have a plan. So for me, bro, it's just setting a plan and sticking to it. So that's what my week been, man. Just like really sticking to my plans, you know. So yeah, man.
That's actually one of my biggest fears. Like try to plan for the kid. No matter how well you plan for the kid, it doesn't go right. And now you gotta call audibles. You don't want that with a kid. Gotta get a little closer. All right, I'm sorry.
Yep.
My first part.
Bro, you good, man. Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
one of my number one fears right there. So sometimes you just gotta get in the game.
Yes.
I don't have any kids. I try to plan for it.
Yep.
Maybe next year I'll be a little less busy, take a step back from work. But then that year rolls around, I'm like, oh, maybe next year. Definitely got baby fever though.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Huh.
Heavy. Bad.
Bro, what's a typical week like for you?
Typical week, I'm gonna say it's multitasking all week. I go to the 9 to 5, there's meetings, things around that. Then I'm getting off work. I'm doing video shoots. I'm doing bookings with the cars. Then on top of that, I got a trucking company. I got truck drivers. Whatever they need that week. You know, it's a different week. It's a different need. Some people need to get back home to their families. Some need having too many issues with a truck. Got to meet up with them. Then there's those one-off issues that I face. The random things that are unplanned. the flat tire on the Ferrari.
This man,
the bent wheel on the Lambo, maybe. Then you got to have somebody in place to kind of take care of that if you can't be in front of it. So I do have a good support system. I got one assistant that can help me with pretty much any and everything. She can be in the places that I can't be. Sometimes when there's multiple bookings, she'll be at a booking or something like that while I'm across town doing something else or handling a bunch of paperwork, dropping off wheels and tires. So she's a big help, big time.
How hard was it to find like good help? Because good help is like
hard
really hard
so
to
they
find,
say.
man. So they say, you got to like go through the growing pains, the training, the development. Like, how was that relationship developed?
Man, to be honest, just hiring truck drivers was a struggle, finding that good help. And I'm paying them well. It was always issue after issue after issue. But as far as my assistant, he honestly was my best friend before any of this came about. So naturally, slowly for surely, I started to lean on her a little bit more because the trust was there. And then the dynamics of my business, I can't just have a homeboy go drop off a Lambo at a video shoot because anything can go wrong in between that time, on the way to the shoot, after the shoot. And then I'm at liability for that car. That loss, that's an expensive loss. Nobody want to lose $300K because their friend was playing around on the freeway.
No, for sure.
And insurance ain't gonna cover it. So,
no, for sure.
So yeah, that came off a natural bond. Like, been knowing her for about 15, 16 years now total. And then when business really took off, like within the last 7, 8 years, she's been a big help in saving me the time and being in places that I can't be. So it looked like I'm a one-man show, but she's a big help too.
So how many cars do you have?
Right now, I'm currently sitting on 11, I want to say.
God
I want to say 11. Not all 11 are rich and fancy.
There's
like 2 or 3 gas savers in there, your normal cars.
So what's what they got? What you got?
Lamborghini Huracan, Corvette C8, Corvette C7 Z06, Range Rover Autobiography.
That's the one I raced.
You raced that one. I'm sorry for what I did.
Yeah, sorry.
Got a Range Rover Autobiography. I got a Rolls Royce. I got a Maybach. And I have another Range Rover. That one not a big deal though. That's a large sport. And then I have a Kia and I have a Chrysler. Yeah, it's all my little.
So what's your favorite that you got in the lineup?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely a Lamborghini person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But outside of the Lamborghini, bang for buck, the 06. The 06 all day.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say this on camera, but I want a C8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as
you should. You should.
I want a C8.
That's a supercar.
I want a C8.
That's a supercar.
Yeah.
Man, when y'all talking all these cars, this is what I hear. Like, that's a supercar.
Bro, that is like, so vets they're just super lightweight, low to the ground.
Yeah.
The
lot of power.
A lot of power. And the Z06 is pretty much just a supercharged version. So with it being lightweight, supercharged, it has a lot more horsepower than just a normally naturally aspirated is what they call it. That's like no supercharger, no turbo, just pure engine. So them vets they nice, bro. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, they nice. Yeah. They nice. I'll probably never say it again until I get mine. But,
I won't say it again.
But so with you building a brand, this entrepreneurship period, like what's that like balancing a 9-to-5 and entrepreneurship? Because some people look down on 9-to-5. Some people look at them like you work a 9-to-5, right?
Hey, for the people, don't let everybody tell you that having a 9-to-5 is wrong. Hey. It is a key starting your success, in my opinion. Depending on which field you're trying to get into, having that 9-to-5 is definitely a great start. That consistent income. I'm gonna give y'all some free tips, tricks, how the process works. So, like with me, having a 9-to-5, having the businesses, that's hard. It's hard work. You never really have the free time. You have to make the free time. And then you'll always run into those people. It's like, oh, You make time for what you want, So you just really have to make the time. But outside of that, I'm going to say that I'll give you some examples. I invest into real estate too. So that's one of my bread and butters. Like buy houses, renovate them, put them right back on the market, make a pretty nice profit within a 3 or 4 month turnaround. Sometimes I might hold it for a little longer and put a tenant in there for a while, collect the equity over time. But either way, I'm either fixing and flipping or holding. But key, as you know, I got a few cars, and sometimes when I want to finance one, it's just because I have a dealer's license and I can buy a wholesale, get my cars for a little cheaper, buying them myself through wholesale through my dealer's license, right? It saves me a few $1,000s. But on top of that, when you want to finance a car, it's great to be an entrepreneur, but for some reason in lending, when you have a 9-to-5, they feel more inclined to lend to you versus you just having self-employment. Yeah. It's a risk. They put you in a different risk category. Yeah. So my 9-to-5 is in finance. So I kind of know a little about what's going on inside. Let me give you an example. Your business could be making maybe, let's just say it's doing $120,000 a year, right? And you're trying to go into the bank, finance a car. They'll end up maybe approving you and giving you a higher interest rate versus the same person, same type of credit, making $110,000 a year, $10,000 less than you, but $50K of that salary is from the 9-to-5.
So it's guaranteed.
And then the other $60K is from self-employment. He could work at Domino's. They don't care where the 9-to-5 is. It's the fact that he's structured and has a job. They put the self-employment on a higher risk level. Pretend you having a bad day or your relationship's falling apart. And let's just say you're an emotional crash out. You can't handle it. You don't want to be self-employed. You don't want to work. You don't want to do nothing for your business. So it's not thriving because you're not emotionally right. They'll look at that and be like, yeah, we don't want to take on that risk. And if we do take on that risk, instead of approving his auto loan at 3 or 4%, we're going to give him about 7 or 8% because you're self-employed. It's like you get punished for not having a 9-to-5 in its own way.
That's a bar.
That's some game.
Let me ask you this. So, like with that information and knowing that, like, was this something like, okay, were you groomed to learn this information, or was it like, man, I went through these struggles in life that led me to learning about finances and really, getting the information that you needed?
Definitely groomed, because being in finance since I was 19, I learned a lot along the way. I closed on my first home when I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 22, I remember going to the title company and signing all the closing docs. And my broker made a big deal, took photos. I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't understand how big of a deal it was right then and there. I just knew, coming back from college life and everything, everybody was moving downtown, but getting roommates, like finding roommates to live with so they can afford the rent downtown. What's wrong with that? I was like, you know what? I'm actually just going to save up for a year. I'm going to try to buy something, actually own it. And that's what I did. And it was like the best decision I could have made, because that was really my start to everything I do today. That very first property I bought. Yeah. So I realized, being in finance, like, man, this guy, self-employed, doing well, gave him a pretty high rate, or they giving him a pretty hard time. He got to submit so many additional documents. And I'm seeing people that have just a 9-to-5 with a little additional income. It was like a breeze for them.
So what's your background like? Because for me, like I didn't. That's not something for me that I understood finance. I've always had a entrepreneurship mindset. And me and you, we talked the last time. But I've always had an entrepreneurship mindset. So even when I was fully entrepreneurship, I was booking 9-to-5s at the time. I was solely, F a job, So what was your upbringing like? Like, what instilled this mindset in you to not only get into finance, but then to also build outside of a 9 to 5?
Coming from nothing, I'm from Forest Lane.
Oh, shit, you from the North.
Yeah, I'm from the North. So coming from that, you know, being in North Dallas, though, you get to see a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
You got rich friends, you got poor friends, you got middle class. Definitely at my high school, I definitely had a couple rich friends that was like born into money, and seeing the cars that their parents would have and all that. That was motivation. So when I got into finance and got like my first corporate job, it's a lot of exposure. You know, I'm seeing people's accounts, what they do. I learned a lot from that. Knew how important home ownership was going to be, so I locked in on that. But what made me want to continue to build is watching everyone else from my 9 to 5 world build their lives up. Like, man, that's a smart idea. Maybe I can replicate that. Just because I'm here 9 to 5 doesn't mean I can't go make passive income. So my goal was to make as much money as I can while I'm at work. I want things still clocking for me in my sleep. Passive income. A lot of my investments are not as hands-on. The real estate is, you know, occasionally you have to do a walk through the property, see how the renovations are going. But for the most part, really have to be there every day? No.
Yeah.
Go to your office and build that passive income. So I'm going to say just trying to increase my income as much as I could so I can get the finer things in life while working this 9 to 5. Didn't take on jobs where I had to step away from my 9 to 5. Probably wasn't meant to be if I had to step away from the 9 to 5.
Damn. Okay, damn, bro.
Listen, man. Like, so let me ask you this, because like I said in the beginning of the show, like this, I knew this was gonna be like a masterclass, man. And one thing that I'm always hearing is mentorship, right? And one thing that I'm hearing people saying, you have to invest in your mentor. You have to invest in your mentor, right? How do you, or what's your opinion on mentorship? Do you feel like you need a mentor? Do you feel like you should even pay for a mentor? You should feel like how do you feel about mentorship?
I think it's good. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some people just need to sit down with someone, have that person grab them by the arm and walk them through the process because they want a full understanding of what they're doing, especially when you're not sure. So I believe in mentorship. Me personally, I didn't have one.
So all this is built off you.
Yeah. I knew real estate is a gold mine.
Right.
Just using my common sense, working in finance, I'm like, okay, property now is going to go up in value later versus me constantly paying rent. That money's never working for me, right? Cars, I've always been into cars. A lot of men are naturally into cars. It's just our thing. I don't know. So sometimes it's in our nature.
Yeah, no, for sure.
My first car flip, I was 20? Bought a Dodge Neon for $500. Put a little paint on it, straightened up the bumper, sold it for $1,800 within 9 days. I said, damn, I made $1,300 in 9 days. And it wasn't really hands-on. It was just, took an hour, took it to the body shop. They had it for a day for the cheap paint job. Aligned that bumper, picked it back up. 9 days later, it was sold for $1,800. So at 20 years old, I was flipping cars. Like straight off Craigslist, a simple way. And passive income outside the 9 to 5. Was I doing it on a major scale? No. Little cash cars, $3-4 grand, $5 grand, but I kept working my way up. And before you know it, I was invested into car dealerships, giving them inventory, getting my dealer's license. They already have a dealership set up. I just go to the auction, buy cars, put them at the dealership. Now, when you go to that dealership, you might see some of my cars there. And the owner of the dealership owner might be like, oh, okay, yeah, this car is for sale, 20 grand, whatever. But that's my price. I want 20 grand for that car. He didn't decide on what the price of the car was going to be. I did. So when that car sells, and he's like, hey, he offered 19.2. Are you okay with that? They got to call me before they sell it. Call consignment. There's a lot of dealerships where you'll walk in, meet the owner, and you think the entire inventory is theirs.
But it may be somebody else. So what made you get into the point of like So you have 11 cars. What made you get into that lane of like, okay, let me start collecting these, and not only collecting them, but using them for income? Because most people, I ain't gonna lie, when I had the Hellcat, if somebody was like, hey bro, let me use it, I probably like, man, hell no, you ain't using my goddamn car. So, but what put you in that mind space to like, okay, let me make this also make money for me?
So that's a good question, because back in the day when I bought my first Lamborghini,
how'd that feel, by the way? Let's just start there.
Well, so I was putting inventory at a dealership at the time, on consignment, so they could, flip and sell. And there were Lambos there. So I'm constantly around Lambos as I'm dropping off cars from the auction that I bought. I'm right here. I can hand touch sitting in a Lambo. So they were around me all the time, a couple Lambos and Ferraris. They had nothing to do with me. I didn't own them. But then I realized, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a Lambo and I'm going to rent it out. And believe it or not, well, let me get on the feeling of how surreal that felt. I was 24 when I bought my first Lambo, so it was a whole moment. I was excited. I was thrilled. I felt like I made it, especially coming from where I come from. I really took in the moment. Like, I really had to sit down and process, like, damn, I actually own a Lamborghini now. At that time when I bought my first Lambo, I had I'll repeat this, but I had a Shelby GT500. And I had a
Having them Ford is crazy.
I had a black C6 Corvette. So I had 2 black cars at the time, and my Lambo was black. So I had 3 sports cars. After buying the Lambo, I eventually let go of the Shelby immediately. It was probably like 2 months later I sold my Shelby.
Damn.
Thought it was the gayest car ever after that. Can I say gay on that?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, this cannot be real. Yeah.
Be real.
I thought it was the weakest car ever after that. I don't even want to see a Mustang.
Bro, that is crazy, bro. Having a Ford is crazy. But I don't know what it is, bro. My bad. It's like having a Mustang is like,
it's frowned upon.
Yeah. It's very frowned upon. It's very frowned upon.
Oh, you pulling up in that?
Yeah, okay. To say the least.
Yeah. But to answer the question, one of my first shoots was actually for Mo3. Yeah. One of my first bookings when I first started in the rental game. Years and years ago.
Damn. So when you bought your Lamborghini, the goal was to get it and rent it out?
The goal was to have it, but if I could save money by renting it out occasionally, I was going to do it. I wasn't full force ready to be like, rental guy. Yeah. But I knew, hey, if I do a couple of shoots, a couple of rentals here and there, my car is free. That was my mindset. I'm going to get a return on my car, save me some money on the insurance. It was just too easy to not make that kind of money. But I never had a real goal of actually starting a rental business. Just one thing led to another.
So what was the next car after the Lamb?
After that black Lamb, I believe I bought a black Range Rover.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, bro, what's the, and this may be a very, very crazy question, but what's the mindset of, because everything is finance. Everything out here is like, okay, how can I build? Most of us, for whatever reason, we're not wired that way. We're wired to spend for self-pleasures only. And we're not thinking like, okay, how can I make this make money or whatever it is? What's the mindset like behind it? Like, I know you said you came from just like coming from humble beginnings, hard times, but like, what is the mindset to like keep that focus? So even at your level right now.
At my level right now, I just don't ever want to be broke again. I know what it's like to be on the other side. It's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing there for me. I hated it. So that is my motivation. But, speaking from all points and phases of my life, well, one, and I don't really believe in the horoscope stuff, but, as you go through your dating life, women are going to bring that up. But one thing that they constantly bring up to me is that, it makes sense that your birthday's January. you're Capricorn. All you do is work and focus on money. You don't even feel like your life is complete if you're not making money. And it's very true. Every time they read back the Capricorn daily quotes and the things that they say Capricorns are like, 100%.
When your birthday?
January 9th.
January 9th. Shit.
I'm
And then
January
you 17th?
Yeah.
January 17th.
I'm on 24th. Man, that's all right, man.
Yep.
Oh, small.
That's all right.
Nah,
That's
for
all
real.
right. That's all right.
For
So how old are you?
33.
33?
33. That's what's up.
Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they say. And you know, when they're reading it back to me, I'm like, oh, that's spot on.
Yeah.
I'm always working.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm not working or not making income, I do feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm in a place where I'm like, I haven't been making enough money at all, and friends want to go out or something, naturally, I take a step back and I'm like, nah, I can't be out. I'm not making what I'm supposed to be making right now. And for some reason, I feel like I cannot go, even though everything in life is just fine.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna harm me to show up and have a good time for a few hours.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, if I don't have whatever I'm trying to have together, in the income, work life, I won't go.
Bro, that's like extreme focus and discipline.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with like to have that type of focus and discipline, like you said, your routines gotta be in place, right? What does like what's a a ritual that you do that's like, if I don't do this today, my day is not gonna start out right. Or if I don't do this before I go to bed at night, my tomorrow, like, do you plan the night before? Or are you waking up? Cause like, you know, they got the videos out now of Ashton Hall, you know, the
routine,
the rich and famous, the morning routine and all that. Like, so like, is that true? Because I know this, like they said, your success is in your routines, you know what I mean? And your habits. So what are some of your like daily and weekly routines that's like, I gotta do this?
This is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous, but I do want to be honest with y'all.
Yeah, nah,
I'm not gonna make up anything.
Nah, for sure.
My routines are a little chaotic. Like, probably every other morning, I might wake up and play a certain Future song that's on my mind before I get my day started. Even if I'm running late, I gotta play that song. I gotta hear that song.
Yeah.
I gotta stare out the window and fake deep thought.
Yeah.
And then get my day started. Like, because I don't have a set routine outside of making sure I handle the responsibilities that are put on my calendar. Shout out to my assistant. She helps me with all the calendar organization. She puts things on the calendar so she can keep me in the loop. Because without that, things slip through the cracks. Important things slip through the cracks. Yeah. So literally, she's a big part of my routine of the reminders. Yeah. I have constant reminders. Without them, I'm nothing. So that's why I feel like she's a big part of like everything that goes on, because she can add things and I'll get the notifications. And if I see it, I'm on it. If I don't see it, out of sight, out of mind. But outside of that, I don't think I have any extreme routines besides going to the gym. That's something I'm doing at least 5 days a week. I have my weeks where I might do 4 or 3.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But
for sure.
You can always tell when I only went to the gym 2 days that week. Yeah. I'm grumpy. I'm not moving right. You know how it is when you miss your workouts. So definitely heavy on the working out. Yep. And as far as like, you know, the guy that's going viral, dipping his face, and I don't have anything going on like that. I really don't. I really don't. I can't lie to you.
Nah, that's a fact. That's
so so 33, life is financially is good for you.
Absolutely. No complaints.
What is it like? What's dating like, bro? How is it? 33 different. You up there close to the 1% of black males in the DFW area. What is dating like? I know you said you know you getting to that point where you kind of want to start building family wise.
Yeah, it's
Hey, it's crazy because
that lamb chop D.
Hey, with the money, he was able to boom.
That lamb chop D. I seen lamb chop D at Ocean Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Let me just put it this way. It comes with its stresses. Mm-hmm. Having money come with its own set of problems, especially in the dating world. You'll date and then like money issues will come up in a relationship of like, It could be anything. Like, they might have expectations for you to do something for them that you might not even be comfortable with. That's just one example. And then there's other things where, like, they could be struggling with something. And, you know, coming where I come from, what they're struggling with, I'm like, well, why is this a big deal? This is how you're going to solve this issue. They're like stressed out about it as if they're about to live outside on the curb. They don't have bills. They're living in the suburbs with their parents. And it's just not even a real big issue. So there's like, what I'm basically trying to say, like, there's going to always be this difference. And then there's that money situation in the middle. Like, oh, here's this rich guy that's insensitive to what I'm going through. But like, what you're really going through is not even a real issue.
Bro, and the crazy part that you saying there, bro. So when people are going through these seasons where things are just not like adding up, especially on the finance or work, whatever it is, to them, it seems like a boogeyman in a closet. But to the other side of the people that's financially stable, they're like, bro, it's really not as bad as you think if you just calm down and just come up with a plan.
Exactly. Especially when you were born in a situation where your parents are living check to check. You don't have the finer things. It's a struggle. You know, I've dated girls that basically live in the suburbs. Every paycheck they get is theirs. They have no real bills. If they have a bill, it's a self-inflicted bill. They have a credit card, they went shopping or something. They have no bills. Parents has blessed them to like, hey, keep your income. You're working, it's all yours. So like, when you lose your job, you can go get another one, right? It's stressful. But when you just run into things that are not going your way and you extremely stressed out about it, but it's becoming your whole personality, and week after week after week, we're just dealing with this issue and you're negative. And I'm like, hey, it's actually not that deep. Here's how we can solve it. Now we can move forward. Oh, you just can't relate because you're rich. This is not your problem. You drive Lamborghinis. And I'm like, well, actually, no, you know, I told you how I grew up, how I lived on the other side. You know, it's still going to be a clash. Money brings like some of the most random problems. And you would think sometimes like, hey, this is where I started. This is where I ended up. Yes. Take my advice as a man. Take my advice. I'm telling you, I've been on the other side. You've never even been on that side. You started off middle class, upper class. You're blessed. You put in a position where you're going to always be okay. Especially having income with no bills.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Man, that's crazy. So what is like a, so you seen Rush Hour, right? Rush Hour 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, they walk into like the little Chinese massage parlor. They just picking the women. If you can pick a woman like that, like just boom, what would be her attributes? What she look like? If you can create a, like 2K, you can create a player. You can create a woman. What's she like? That's Beyonce?
Yeah, it's Beyonce. On my shirt. So, you know. But nah, outside of Beyonce, I mean, I'm a simple guy. If we talking surface area, just appearance, I'm into more natural looks. I'm not really into the cosmetic work. All that's going on right now, that's not really my speed. But I do like natural looks, like natural hair. You can wear makeup. If it's excessively heavy all the time, probably wouldn't really align with me. But I don't really care for things like the BBL culture and all that. But I just like a natural woman. If you got a career, I'm happy. I don't care if you are a veterinarian, a nurse, a doctor, a firefighter. I don't care what you do as long as you have a career and it's outside of sex working. Yep. And what I mean by sex working is there's certain jobs.
Yeah.
You know, bottle girl, host.
OnlyFans.
You know, the OnlyFans.
Yeah. Dancer.
The titty bars, the Hooters. No judgment to those women. No judgment to those women. But as far as like locking in with you, dating you, and starting a future with you, you would have to have a career somewhere. I don't care how much your salary is. As long as you love what you do and you're not taking the sex working route And when I say sex working, I don't mean like a bottle girl sleeping around for money, but I'm just saying it's like, they got to entertain.
Yeah, they got
several different men just to sell a table, and those men go on dates, and it's just like a whole thing. So I ain't really my lane.
Yeah.
A lot of people confuse that though because of where you might hang out and who you be around. That was just temporary. That wasn't a real situation.
Facts. That's facts.
I think too, man. Like I hear a lot of men saying that, like, I like natural women. I like women that's like this, and I like women that's like this, right? But yet and still, it's like women are still running out there, altering their bodies and altering their face now. Like, bro, I remember a time where, like, black women like embraced their face. Like we was proud of our nose, but it's like now they getting it all changed. My question is to you and both of y'all, because y'all younger than me, right? Even with guys like y'all age saying we like this and we like this, why do y'all think like the girls, the young ladies, the women are still going out there and having all this surgery and doing, getting all the jobs when it's people saying we like this? Because I hear a lot of men saying, "Bro, I like the natural look."
So, in my opinion, it starts with social media and the celebrities.
Yeah.
What a celebrity female might do, that might influence a woman to do that too. Naturally, I've dated. Shout out to all my exes. I've dated some pretty incredible looking women. But they all have their own insecurities. Something that I learned over time with dating. There's always something that could be a little bit better. But then when they do the cosmetic work, it actually made it look a little strange, in my opinion. But to them, it's like, nah, every other girl is doing this. So, I'm on the wave too, and I feel like I look better. Some of them come to their senses later on, and they like, I did way too much. I actually want to reverse this. You'll see the girls making TikToks about
getting
everything removed, reduced, and speaking on the things that they wish they would have told people before they got the work done. But, they went in kind of blindsided. So they learned the hard way. So they try to save other women. So yeah, that's my take on it. I just think it's social media insecurities and celebrities.
So with you being 33, what's your goals now? Because even though 33 is it's not old. The more I get into my 30s, I'm like, bro, 33 ain't old. 30's not old. 40's not old. So it's like with so much
say that
life.
Again. 40's not what?
I mean, it's not old, bro.
Okay, I appreciate it.
It ain't old, bro.
You still in there?
Yeah, you still in there. You still, you can still hoop too.
I can still hoop.
Yeah, so you ain't old. But so what's goals like now moving forward? Like what's D at 35, 40, 50?
What's crazy is I feel like I've checked mostly everything off my bucket list. Mostly that I just wanted to do now. And I mean that by the real bucket list. You know how you might achieve some goals, so you add some more just because. Of course, I still do that, but it's not a real bucket list, right? So, majority of those things I've checked off my list besides start a family. So, I think 35 me, 36 me, definitely want to have a family going. I think that's my biggest goal right now. Probably sell a few cars, consolidate properties, put that capital to work somewhere else, and start a family. Yep.
So what's outside of the family? What's one major thing that you feel like you added to the bucket list that you like? I gotta do this. It's gotta get done.
I want to buy that new Lamborghini Revolto.
The 1,000 horsepower?
Yeah. But the problem is, I'm not paying $600,000 for no car. There's boundaries.
What's the most you done spent on a car?
$275.
What's your max? What's your man, I'm paying.
That was my max.
That's your max, $275.
$275.
Well, for the double R or the Lamb? The Evo?
Huracan. LP 610-4. But
hold on, man. Just go crazy on everyone. So just give us a little breakdown of that. explain it to me, because y'all keep breaking down saying all these numbers, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. So I'm bro, my son love cars. That's what I was telling him last night. So like, bro, I bought him like this little racer, K1,
Formula One.
Yeah, Formula One. I said K1, Formula One, like racing. So he build cars. He love that kind of stuff. And Daddy, man, this and I'm like, man. Then I get on the phone with him. He trying to explain. I'm like, so when y'all be like explaining like the numbers, like what do those numbers mean and what do they signify? Like,
well, it depends on the car.
Yeah.
You know, I was like being very specific to the Huracan type that I drive.
Got you.
To give you an example, right? There's a Chevy Tahoe, right? Everybody knows what a Tahoe is. But then, you know, they have the LTZ.
Yeah, facts.
And that's the maxed out edition of that Tahoe. It's going to cost maybe $35,000 more than the average Tahoe. So stuff like that is just the specifics. The numbers don't really mean anything. It's kind of like the cars.
I'm thinking y'all naming like the motors and.
Oh, no.
Got you.
Just trim levels.
Yes, it's trim
levels.
So
same car.
Same
car.
Yeah,
Got it. Bet.
Yeah.
Bet.
But stuff like that for me is just like you said, just being in the cars, bro. That's shit that I've learned. Like, the more you get into it, the more that you start to really learn the trim level. Then you start to learn like what you like and don't like. Like, some people don't want a lot of speed. Some people just want the look, so they may go for something that's less fast or basic level. Some people that's only in it for the speed. Like for me, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm big on Porsches right now. Bro, that GT3 RS is really calling my name. It's calling me, bro.
That hurt my feelings, man.
I'm telling you, bro.
I hate GT3 people.
Oh my goodness, bro.
I hate GT3 people. Let me tell you why, though. Let me tell you why. No matter what conversation you're having, they always bring up the GT3.
Bro.
But if you really look at a GT3, like here's the catch for me. This is what turns me off about it. You know what a GT3 looks like. If we Google a picture and pull it up, you'll see. It looks like a little toy.
Bro,
it looks like a little toy.
Yes.
Right? But on top of that, with it being so light, the 0 to 60 time, I'm not impressed. It's the same as my Z06.
Yeah, it's not as fast. But I think, bro, it's
the turns. Look what they can do on the turns.
Yes, bro.
But we in Dallas, we're not on a track. And yes, the Porsche GT3 people will take their Porsche and ship it to the track and
go
it's
crazy.
Good in turns. I've driven a GT3. It can hold a turn, but man, we in the city. We on the freeway. We finna punch it. We finna go 0 to 100 in a couple of seconds.
Especially on 635.
And, you know, for the look of your car and for the price of your car, your 0 to 60 time should be like 2.1.
Yeah, I think it's like good.
It's 2.9, 2.8.
Yeah.
You know, 2.8. It's not fast enough for the size and the price.
Dallas is taxing on them. It's one dealership. I ain't gonna say the name, but they are taxing on. I think they pushing like mid threes.
That's the Porsche people though, and they're paying that. If my Z06, a C7 at that, let's just talk about the C7 Z06, can go 0 to 60 in 2.9, 2.8 seconds. And we all know a brand new C7 Z06 is about $95K, depending on which package you get.
Yeah.
But if you get a used, you get it for $60,000.
Yeah.
And I got the similar 0 to 60 time. I mean, it's gonna be slightly off, but I'm right there.
Yeah.
And you didn't pay $300.
For the look. It's for the look. It's for the look.
Ask any woman though. A woman does not take a Porsche seriously. You can ask. I've done a little survey.
For real?
Yeah, because you know.
I mean, people.
I have drinks in Highland Park sometimes. You know, right? So, and the GT3 people come along because I might be wearing a car shirt that day. I wear a lot of car gear. They'll be like, "Why are you wearing a Lamborghini shirt?"
I was just gonna say, I think women only know Lamborghinis, Ferraris, like the
they
top.
know Porsches. They know Porsches, but the thing is, you ask them. You know, we were in Highland Park. I was like, I had like 4 guys against me, and they were all GT3 fans. You know, and I'm by myself. You know, so we start talking. We start talking to different ladies, and I was like, if you saw this Porsche, you know, what do you think of it? She's like, oh, I wouldn't take a man seriously.
In the Porsche?
In the Porsche, because the GT3.
They look like kid cars.
They look like kid cars.
They like kid cars. Hey, my dogs tell me that. They say, man, that car like a little toy for a kid. And I'll be so proud. I'm like, man, listen, I'm getting it.
See, I want this.
So let me ask you this, right? So with the, because the crazy part, bro, you're not really flashy, even with what you got on. That's very subtle to me. But with the cars, right? How does that affect? Because I hear you say you have conversation with people, high level people, because of these things, right? Mm-hmm. So like, how does that affect conversation? Does it really create conversations and more revenue for you having these things?
1,000%. In all my cars, I get stopped, whether I'm at the gas station, out for lunch. And actually, like on date night, you know, it can get annoying with the lady that you may have. She's like, man, people are always walking up. You know, at first they're like, dang, people walk up to you, and then over time, they actually get annoyed with it. But it definitely brings a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different investment opportunities that may make sense for me if I have the capital and it's the right situation. One, because they're seeing what you're driving. And one of the first questions they always ask me, do you rap or do you play ball? I get those first two questions. And when I tell them I don't do either one of those and tell them what I do, they will then start introducing opportunities to me, or ask for advice on how they can get on that path. But yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities brought to me just solely off the car that I drove that day. Yeah, for sure. So the people that's online that tell you, hey, that car is going to work for you in its own way. Yeah, it's true. It is true. Depending on where you're going, how you use it, but it's definitely true.
Man, if you had to give your younger self some advice, man, what advice would you tell your younger self knowing what you know now?
Definitely would have bought more Bitcoin. One of my deepest regrets. I invest heavy in cryptocurrency. I know I didn't disclose that, but I'm a big crypto investor, and I was on the crypto wave early, you know, when Bitcoin was a couple of cents. And working where I worked, because, you know, I've been in the 9-to-5 world. Dad made an announcement of like where I work at. That was like, hey, we're not going to be doing anything with cryptocurrency. If you hear anything about Bitcoin, you know, shy away from it. We're not associated, you know? And I was like, so it doesn't have a future. Because, you know, the major banks, they're declining it. They're not on board with it. And this is when I'm like 19, 20 years old. And I was willing to put money in it, but my 9-to-5 discouraged me, giving me that inside information. Sent out the company email to everybody talking about how Bitcoin has no future here. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put money in Bitcoin at all. Boy, did I regret that.
I am. Yeah, man. Cause
you think it's too late?
No, I've been investing in crypto for like the last 8-9 years now.
For the new investor, you think it's too late for them to invest in Bitcoin?
It's never too late. Bitcoin is very expensive right now, but it's never too late to invest.
So what's if you can give three investments across the board, somebody that's never invested, working a 9-to-5, it can be invested in anything, crypto, whatever. If you can give three separate ones, I say that, 3 separate ones. What would you say is 3 things somebody could get into to invest in?
I would say on the passive side, for sure, real estate. Real estate's gonna be number one. I know that's trending everywhere, but especially if you're in Texas. We are the number one move to Metroplex right now, DFW, in the United States. Everyone's moving from LA, Chicago, New York, and transitioning down here. And buying the cheapest real estate they've ever seen and driving up our prices. So you can't lose buying real estate in Texas. So that'll be my first one. My second one will be crypto for sure. And it doesn't have to be Bitcoins. You can start off with the smaller altcoins and work your capital up. And my third one, I don't invest into software or on the technology side of things, but I think that's major. I think that's a major piece that people should be paying attention to and investing in. There's different ways to go about it. You can do it through the stock market, or you can be hands-on with a company that's trying to start some type of new software technology development that is going to be a need. I think that's huge. But I'm not in that space at all, so I can't give advice to it. So real estate and crypto.
We were just talking about that though, like AI, like getting in front of AI since it's already a growing monster, but getting in front of it. And we just talking about that too, as far as Bitcoin. Like people didn't get in front of Bitcoin when it popped off, but we see it now that AI is going to be the next best thing to get in front of, because since it's starting to reset everything, especially since when COVID hit, everybody was getting rich, but now AI is finna make to where it's pretty much finna hit like almost like a reset. And so it's now like, all right, how can we get in front of AI, and possibly make some money off of it, invest in it, or however we can make it work.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of AI advertisements. Been seeing a lot of AI coaches using Chat GPT to start businesses and sell books, and yeah, it's just different. It's a different space, but I think it's a very lucrative space if you go full force in it.
Yeah, for sure. Man, we actually just to give a shameless plug, we working on a app to where so say like in Chat GPT, right? If you type in one word like cooking, it's gonna say what's cooking, right? It's gonna give you a definition, or it's gonna ask you to define it more, right? Well, on our platform, it's based only for entrepreneurs. So it's solely for entrepreneurs. If they type in the word cooking, it will give them strategies on how to start a cooking business, ideas on how to make money from cooking, give them a template on how to, make a whole ebook on how to cook. So I think like doing things like that is what's gonna really set us apart. And I know I kind of didn't go there, but I just want to plug that.
Yeah, plug that.
That's what they need, because right now everybody's on Chat GPT, right?
Facts.
But people don't know how to use the prompts. They don't know what to say. They don't. Man, it's crazy. I heard someone talking about like asking Chat GPT to write a love letter for them, and I'm like, out of all the things it can do for you, you wanted to write a love letter? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you've been writing that girlfriend.
You know what I mean? But it's like with this platform, you don't even like, it's based, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't know where to start, it's like, okay, this is a good start. All we need to know is what's your gift. And once you type in your gift, it'll give you a whole like blueprint of ideas and suggestions that you can do, man.
No, I definitely believe you, because I've been in like 2 relationships where they were like, well, I use Chat GPT and all this other stuff, and it gave me advice and told me what to say to you and what I'm feeling. Even one told me, it was like, the chat told me that I'm dealing with a bunch of red flags.
Damn.
So we need to acknowledge that.
Damn.
Sent me a screenshot of it.
Damn.
Yeah, it was actually crazy. I was like, why are you asking AI for relationship advice?
No.
Crazy. So times are different now.
Oh man, bro, that is crazy.
That's crazy.
Man, true story, by the way.
True story. Man, let's get into the game. We got the game?
Yep.
We're gonna get into a game before we get you out of here, man. We know you got a engagement to go to.
So this gonna be this gonna be a quick rapid fire game, right? You get it right, man. Call this or that, right? So what we're gonna do is just gonna be quick, man. So this is gonna be you rather do this or you rather do that, and it's just quick. Whatever come to your mind, rapid fire. You ready? Early morning, late night.
Late night.
Work from home, office life.
Work from home.
Side hustle money, invest it or blow it.
Invest it.
Coffee break or a power nap.
Power nap.
Take a risk or play it safe.
Take a risk.
Fancy business card or IG DMs.
IG DMs.
4-hour work week or 4 vacations a year.
4 vacations a year.
Build a brand or build a bag.
Build a bag.
Silent grind, loud success.
Loud success.
$1 million business or $1 million smile.
$1 million business.
Why settle when you can have both?
Wow. So, bro, you said, hold on. You said the IG DMs over like the business card.
Yeah,
wow.
That's what I was gonna go back to. Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So, and by the way, I'm good. I got time, so I got to be at the dinner at 8:30, and it's real close by, so
okay,
don't need to rush out here. I'm just letting y'all know. But as far as the question, I get asked a lot when I'm out and I get stopped in the cars and they ask me what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You got a business card? Well, no, I don't. And the reason why I don't, my investments don't really require me to have a business card.
Yep.
90% of my clientele that rents my vehicles for video shoots, it's the cameraman, and the rappers, and the artists, and the models.
Yep.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Plus social media platform.
Yes.
They see the cars, I'm posting them. They know that they can book them. All that's coming in off a post. I buy properties, right? I don't need a business card to say, hey, I can buy your house and, renovate it. I'm buying things that are already for sale.
Okay.
I try to find off-market deals, but that's more of the realtor's job to pitch me something that's potentially off the market. But I'm a normal guy. I'll see a house for sale and I'm like, there's room here. It hasn't been touched. It hasn't been renovated. It's been built in 1950. I'll buy that, renovate it out, put it back on the market. I don't need a business card for that. You know what I mean? So I don't have them.
Okay.
It's easier just to, here's my social media, here's my phone number, and everyone's on social media. So
Facts. Okay, so why the loud success over the silent grind?
Well, put it this way. If you had to make a choice between two cars, right? And let's say it's a Audi R8.
Talk to me.
And a Lamborghini Huracan. Same motor. You put that Audi key down at the bar on the table, and let's just say a lady sees you. She's like, oh, you drive an Audi.
She ain't gonna think shit of it.
She ain't gonna think shit of it. Like, yeah, they're kind of nice. And you put that Lamborghini car key down, it's gonna be a different reaction. Now, drive what you want to drive and what your preference is, because those cars have the same motor, as you know. Being a car guy, I know he knows this, but you're gonna spend half your time when you talking to this girl explaining to her, hey, you ever seen the movie? You ever seen the movie Iron Man?
Yeah.
Like, you want to be at the bar talking about Iron Man all day long to try to really explain how your car is different.
Yeah.
I use that analogy like, if I'm putting in all this work and I'm doing all these different things, I want my success to be loud, but not loud in a way where it's like, everybody look at me, I'm better than you. Yeah. More like in real life scenarios, like I lack the ability to spend a lot of quality time if I have a dating partner. I lack in that area because of all the responsibilities. But when we are on our dates and doing our things, they see the cars, the experiences, the nice dinners, what's being spent, because of all the hard work I've been putting in all week. We're able to do this and live like this. So that's what I'm talking about loud. Like, we can have a date night where we start off in the Lambo, go to a nice dinner, come back, get into something more comfortable like a Maybach or a Rolls Royce, like, all in one night, and go sit courtside at a game. It's a different experience, and it takes money and it takes work. So that's the type of loud I'm talking about.
For sure.
Where it's just obvious, I've been working. You got those guys that say, oh, I'm working, I'm busy, I don't have time. And then,
I got
when it's time for them to spend time with their lady, they doing bare minimum activity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
No shade.
No,
if you're that busy, why is the activity that bare minimum and I'm barely seeing you? Like, where's the money going? You know what I mean?
That is a fact.
Yeah.
Bro, what's
my wife gonna see this and be like, Dion, God dang it.
Where that money at? Bro, what's the most, or let me say it this way. What do you feel like is the dumbest purchase and the smartest purchase you've made?
Dumbest and smartest.
Like, where you bought it, just like, man, why the fuck?
I'm gonna say dumbest is gonna be the $10,000 Louis Vuitton jacket. I bought
that black motherfucker.
Yeah, a couple birthdays ago. That was expensive as hell for a jacket, but it was my birthday, and I just kind of want to treat myself. But it's kind of pointless. I mean, it's a $10,000 jacket. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And I don't wear it too much. Like if I go to a course high game, I'm definitely gonna force that jacket. I'm letting y'all know ahead of time. Y'all ever go to the Mavs games? Y'all gonna see me in that damn jacket. The arena cold.
The arena is a little nippy in that jump for sure.
I'm gonna get my but smartest purchase, I want to say, my first house. For sure. My first house was incredible. After a year and a half of living in it, rented it out, showed proof that I was renting it out so it doesn't go against my debt to income ratio. So I was able to go finance another home. Then when I got the other home, I'm like, man, I can keep doing this, rinse and repeat. And that's how I built my real estate portfolio. So then, a couple of years later, I checked back on my first one and I'm like, man, look at all that equity.
Damn.
I can pull this out and buy a car. We into cars. So I'm like, and that was the build right there. So real estate is, it's bulletproof in Texas right now. I don't care what they say about rates. Rates are going to go up and down. But as far as home value in Texas, as you can see, all the corporations are moving here. Follow the wave. And for people listening that don't own a home yet, and you're in an average income, if you got a solid work history and you got decent credit, you don't have to have the best credit. Go find you a house for about $200,000, no more than $250,000, because that's very affordable. Go further out. Go to Red Oak. People are building in Red Oak left or right. You can get a house in Red Oak for cheap. You can get a house in Red Oak for $200K. But the best part about it is that doesn't have to be your permanent home. You can live there for a few years, work your way up to the top, doing whatever you got to do. And in a couple years, that house is damn near double in value because they're building in Red Oak and further suburbs and further places out because of the demand in Texas. And you got to remember, everybody that's moving here, they know it's Dallas, but they don't know anything about Red Oak, Prosper. And Prosper is expensive, People are moving.
Yeah, that's all the
They're building castles out there, but still bang for buck.
Yeah.
You get a lot more in Prosper for what you're going to get in North Dallas. You try to buy a house within 2 minutes of North Park Mall in that area.
It's high as hell.
Built in 1930, 1940, $600,000-$700,000. That's not even renovated. That's just
as is.
As is. Still got to renovate it. The modern homes you see building up on 2 stories and things like that, those are 1.5, 1.4 in North Dallas with not much square footage. Prosper, you can get a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, for that much, yeah, for sure.
So a lot of real estate further out. Don't be trying to be so close to the city because either way, those areas are going to develop anyway. And then once you sell that first one that you got all the equity from, you take that money and you reinvest it and you rinse and repeat. You'll never run out of money. You'll never go broke if you buy real estate.
I gotta get in real estate.
Bro, that's the title right there. You'll never go broke if you buy. And that's true because I bought my house when I was 25. I still live in it now though. But I bought it.
Oh, you rich.
I bought it on a short sale. But I ain't gonna say, I'm gonna say for under 100,000. And now it's worth like 370. And I'm like, man, that was like the best decision that I ever made in my life.
Ever.
And my people sometimes be like, man, y'all need another house and get another. But I'm like, man, I could go out here and get another house, but I'm like, if I just stay here another 5 years, you know what I'm saying? It's thinking like I'm always gonna have money in it, and it's like buying real estate, it almost secures like money for the future.
100%.
Yeah, and that's how. And
you're making money in your sleep.
You make
every
night
night
in
right
sleep.
now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just give you free advice that you didn't even ask for.
Please, nah, thank you.
Pull the equity out of that home if you can.
Yeah.
Go buy some more property.
Yeah.
Go buy some more property. If you got a business idea that you know is gonna work, and it's bulletproof, and you can see the income coming in, and it's passive, and you don't have to be hands on as much. I don't know what your free time is like, but if you have that free time to be, even better. Pull that equity out. Fund that business. Make sure it's gonna work before you pull the equity out, though.
Thanks.
But pull the equity out and buy some more real estate. Just like it happened for you at 25 and how much you're sitting on now, this is your opportunity to build more off your first home. I mean, it's bulletproof.
Thanks.
The feeling you got right now, imagine having that feeling 2 or 3 more times just because you took some of the equity out and went to go make other purchases.
Yeah.
Because we're booming right now in Texas.
Right.
We are booming. We are the hot spot. Everybody want to be here.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm going to take your advice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Look, man, this has been good, man. Listen, like I said, I knew this was gonna be a masterclass, man.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, man. I so before I had asked you to come on the show, I hit up Dean. I said, bro, I got the perfect person.
Sure.
I got the perfect person.
For sure.
And I hit you up. I'm like, hey, I said, bro, I'm finna see if he down. I said, bro, down come on the podcast. You like, yeah. I called him, man. I said, hey, we got some action, man. We got a guy that's gonna be good for the show, but. Bro, again, bro, just man to man, bro, like the conversation that me and you had, bro, that was a conversation that was needed. You know what I'm saying? Just to get that opposite, that other side, their perspective. They gave me a lot of inspiration and impact. So I appreciate you coming. I appreciate the conversation we had. But bro, you gave some game today for sure.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me. I try to help out when I can. You know, people ask me questions all the time, and I try to take 30 seconds to answer some questions.
Facts.
If you ain't got to go into all the details.
Facts.
Instead of oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm him. I can answer questions.
Yeah.
I want to keep people motivated. I want to see everyone win. So any questions y'all have about anything that we talked about today,
No, for sure.
let me know.
I got you locked in, brother.
So.
One question before we get you out of here, bro. Is it on your level? Of course, the thing is say it's lonely at the top. Like, what's your friend group like? Like, is it lonely? Is your circle tight? Like,
that's a good question, man. I'm glad you actually asked me that. My circle is very diverse. I got friends that I grew up in the hood with that I still talk to, hang out with. I got friends that I met through business. And we're the best of friends, and we met through business. And we have our regular hangouts. If I had a birthday party at a house or something, the crowd would be extremely diverse. Like extremely diverse. But overall, I would say my circle is pretty tight. I don't hang out with a million different people on a regular basis. I got a lot of associates, but my close ones, it's pretty diverse. Got lifetime friends, and I got friends I've been knowing for like the last 10 years. But definitely a lot of time in the bonds that I got going on. A lot of times. And then there's times where if you put me in a room, dressed like this, you wouldn't even know we were the best of friends because we all look so different. Different backgrounds, different upbringings, dressed completely different. But we're the best of friends. We all do the similar activities and do different things. Kind of like a wild card.
Yeah.
One moment I'm at an EDM rave concert.
Rave concert is crazy.
Next moment I'm at the street races.
Yeah.
Next moment I'm at the normal club, traditional clubs. So it's just random.
Bro, I told Dion you was Bruce Wayne of Dallas. I
get that a lot though.
Now I see it though, for real.
Yeah, I told you Bruce Wayne. But
man, so look, man, at the end of every show, man, we like to have our "Can I Be Real" moment, man. And it's the moment to where like this is you closing out the show, right? Everything you said is like if you can tie it up and put a bow on it, and give advice to our listeners, man, because today, like everything you said, like it's really inspiring. You know what I mean? And that's why we bring people on here to have real conversations, to help people in their real life, right? So if you can just close the show out and encourage our audience, man, what would you tell the people?
I'm going to say, if you're looking to make money and you do have a 9-to-5, whatever business idea you have, start that business. Find a way to start it without quitting a 9-to-5. Always keep that safety net. Safety nets are good because if your business plan don't go the way it needs to go, you don't really have to fall back and start from ground zero because you still have a 9-to-5 working for you. Still got that income, you still got that career. But put your all into your business too. It might strain you for the first few years, getting that up off the ground while working that 9-to-5, but it's gonna be worth it in the end because you're able to finance things easier for your business needs. You're able to have an income, and then your business is your supplemental income, and you living off your 9-to-5 income, live within those means. The business income that you may develop in the future, just look at that as surplus to grow your business and money you need to save. I guarantee you, if you follow that structure and buy real estate somehow in the process, and you live in Texas, this is for the people that's living in Texas, you're going to be all right. No matter what business venture you go for, how risky it is, in the meantime, while you're making this money, if you find a way to finance a home in Texas throughout this process, you're going to be all right. I guarantee it.
Bro, I'm getting a house by the end of this year. Yeah, I'm getting a house by the end of this year.
That's the best advice I can give without going into crazy details of all the different avenues. It's going to start with the real estate and being consistent at work and having some type of passive or hands-on income that's outside of the 9-to-5. Bro, it's a bulletproof plan.
That's what we building here, man. Yeah, that's what we building here.
Can I be real?
Man, can I be real, man? Make sure y'all comment down below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. By the time this drops, the other podcasts have already dropped, so make sure y'all check that out, man. We got some good stuff dropping on every Tuesday. The brand is expanding. CIBR is expanding. So with that being said, man, make sure y'all tune in, man. We are out of here. Wow.